Hello, ladies. I noticed that I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers for my women's channel. And for most YouTubers, I say all YouTubers, 1,000 is a very momentous mark to achieve and something that on the women's channel that I never thought that I would ever get even close to. I thought at bare maximum, I'll get about maybe 100 subscribers for the women's channel. And I'm closing in on 1,000. Do tell. Eat that one, Crystal and Kerosene. By the way, I was thinking that since I think it's a great achievement for me, considering how I can be harsh in my critique of women. Actually, I'm harsh on everybody, but my seemingly harsh critique on women, that it would even get this far. I thought I should do something. 1,000 subscribers. I remember when I was closing on my 500th subscriber for my first channel, which is my Black Gnostic Speech channel. That's why I started to do my esoteric series for men. And I'd always meant to actually complete the cycle by talking about the woman's animus, the one, the male part inside of her head, in an aspect that men could actually understand it. I never actually completed it because actually when you go in a direction, you kind of run out of wind as far as in momentum, as far as doing something like that, which is exactly what happened. Being a man and doing and talking about an animal is a lot easier than flipping the script and looking at a woman's psyche and doing the animus. And since I'm a man, it probably won't be perfect. But for my 1,000 subscriber mark, I'm going to try to do for the women the animus. And it goes along with something that we were talking about in the last women's hangout that we had. We were talking about the pimp prostitute relationship and how it was symbiotic and not predatory, like most women or most people think that pimps are predatory. And that's the image that a lot of people have, that pimps are predatory. And we look at pimps as if they're not supplying a need or fulfilling a hole. But we never look at it the other way when we see the high class, what we call gold diggers, for lack of a better term, as far as women, which is the opposite side of the pimp prostitute relationship. Pimp is nothing but a gold digger to women. And the gigolo is nothing but almost the softer side of that relationship. But both of those things are related to the animus and the anima. And all a pimp does is tap into a woman's animus, is something that she doesn't understand. Most people think that the pimp is actually projecting. No, he's not. The woman is actually projecting her animus onto him. So I thought that discussion and the 1,000 mark, this is probably a good time to actually start the series. Now, I don't normally do a ramble on my women's channel. I usually reserve that for men. But I decided that as an intro to the animus, or the animus for women, that I couldn't think of a better way to do it other than a ramble. Now, I started collecting video and artwork and other kind of stuff to actually describe the animus for women. But I don't know exactly how long it's going to take to sequence, because the esoteric sequence for the men actually took about, I think it was like 2.5 months, like 10 weeks, believe it or not. Even though it's in sequence, it seems like that's like kind of lopped them off one day after the next. I actually didn't. Even though it's a series, it took about 10 weeks to actually do that. I had to be in a certain flow to actually construct those esoteric videos. So I'm not sure exactly how long it will take to actually do the animus. In my head, I'm seeing about maybe 3 or 4 videos. I hope it doesn't take much more than that, because it's at its bedrock. And I think those 3 or 4 videos, I want to do them like maybe one a week if I can, because I want to put some kind of, I want to be in some kind of flow. I want to be in some kind of flow. I just don't want to just give out information. I want to actually get deep and try to pull out some kind of essence. And it's kind of hard to do it if I'm trying to just crank it out to crank it out. But I was thinking about the Animus and a song that described the Animus for women. And something I mentioned during the hangout. And I was looking at my comment section, and Young Grizzly actually pulled up the song that I was mentioning. And it reminded me that this would go good with the Animus because it perfectly describes what the Animus is to the woman. The Animus is just the imprint. The imprint is actually part of the Animus. The imprint is actually the physical manifestation of that. The Animus is deep inside that woman, that perfect male or that ideal man that she imprints on, and she projects onto the man that she thinks will the closest match to her Animus, and she tries to bind an imprint on that particular man. And as Jung says, that for her, that first voice, that sight, that is that love at first sight, and that is that completing the cycle, and that becomes her obsession. Just as a man becomes obsessed about his video girl or his perfect girl, a woman becomes psychologically and emotionally obsessed with that man. So, not to make this ramble too long, I was trying to find a copy of or cover of Minnie Riperton's Every Time He Comes Around, so I wouldn't get like a copyright strike or something. But I did find a cover of Minnie Riperton's Every Time He Comes Around. So I'm going to shut up, close this ramble out, and I'm going to play a cover of Minnie Riperton's Every Time She Comes Around. Link to the actual video will be in the description. And I'm looking forward to not only starting this discussion about the Animus, but also completing the actual esoteric series that I started 2 years ago. Well, now 3 years ago, really, and complete the journey. With that, I'm going to jump off. Here is the cover of Minnie Riperton's Every Time He Comes Around.